Oh, let's open up this window. I don't know how much it's going to help with lighting. It's such a gloomy day today. Oh, I think I got some better light spraying out around here. One of these days, though. One of these days. Speaking of, probably share us on the good old Discord. Oh, I also gotta remember not to sing. Or hum along with whatever I'm listening to. I really got my earphones in. Doing my random sharing while we're waiting. Well, anyways, we got a couple of viewers in here real quick. If you guys want to chit chat, don't mind if you do. Here's some squeaking in the background. That's the puppers. She's currently mowing down on a lamb chop stuffed animal. Oh, wrong thing. That one. That button. You want to create an event? No, I just want to post it for the love of God. There we go. Hi, I always listen to Breeders. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve. Find the button. Gonna be painting some random Minyas today. Possibly more. I'm not 100% how far I'm gonna get. I'm gonna try to get as much painted as I possibly can before Casey wakes up from her nap, which could be any time now. So hopefully, she's been taking fairly short naps lately. She's been asleep for like about an hour now. I tend to just let her feel like she'll just get up on her own. So hopefully she'll sleep a little bit longer. She was ready and raring to go earlier. But we got the adult Minya here. Then we got babies from Son of Godzilla. So first and foremost, going to primer them up. Got some acrylic surface primer. Gonna start with that, cover them in that, and then see, because I'm kind of hoping that will work as a solid base color too, and I can just kind of dry brush over top of it to get the right shades. I'm just trying to see if I got a little brush hanging around here, which I do. I try my best to do this without having to disassemble it. Because with especially with 3D printed parts, I wholeheartedly worry about something breaking. So if it's attached, I would much prefer to just leave it attached. Than trying to heat it up, disassemble, and pray to God that the whatever joint they used or whatnot doesn't snap on me. Because what I'm thinking with this one, actually both of these as a matter of fact, is I'm just going to go over it lightly with a bunch of grays. By bunch, I mean a few. Let's see if we end up the right color, because Baby Minya gets a little bit of browns because of the tummy region and whatnot, from what I've seen from pictures. While Adult Minya is definitely in more of the shades of grays. Minnie likes it a bit kinky, if you know what I'm saying. It's the only reason why he talks to everybody in their dreams. Just be dreaming. Do you think you can get with them? Okay, I'm sorry. He's a child. Anyways, hey, Mad Goji Motion, how's it going today? Hey, Art. There, you hit this with a little bit of heat. Just get it to dry really quick, as it is acrylic paint, so it dries fairly fast with just a little bit of application. It's going good, Mad Goji. So far, today's been one of those days that things just haven't been going my way. It's gotten better. Hoping between today and tomorrow, I can kind of just crush a few of these commissions out, like these painting ones. I was gotta paint Slenderman's head real quick. Layer on so I can. Not Slenderman. You can't remember his name. Operative? The operative. I don't know if that was Jessica or the child that just got up. So these were sent in as a commission. I want to say, if I remember correctly, it's from. You can find him on Instagram under Godzilla154. But I'm not 100%. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, almost everything you see on this channel, outside of like the Zillas, for the most part, are stuff that's sent in. And even the Zillas weren't of my creation. I just printed and painted them. All right. Some more heat. When applying heat, if you ever want to know if you're when this is drying, when you can touch it again, is you'll see that it's glossy from it being wet. When it stops being glossy, you know you can be handsy with it again. Kind of going over it real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything of importance. The tail is going to be my primary concern of anything I missed. Honestly, it looks like I did pretty good on first pass. So, but nothing much today. Just painting this little 3D printed Minya. Got a primer. I'm going to set them aside for a few. We'll come back to them. Just a little harden a bit more. Yeah, baby Minya, I think I got to go a little bit with some darker shades and some browns. Also, this arm really likes to pop out. It's like it just fits in that ball joint. I will say though, like I mentioned before when we did oh, we showed these off. Was it last stream? Oh yeah, the dancing 65. That looks sweet. And my dog is going to town on a squeaker. But yeah, no, it looks sweet. It's one of those though. Like if I see it, I'll probably grab it. I don't know if I'd order it because I already got like a bunch of representations of those kaiju's in the collection. So okay, Russell. Yeah, I'm gonna try to crank through stuff a little bit today. Since I'm kind of stuck upstairs with the dog, can't really work on Zilla at the moment. If I get an opportunity, Zilla might be surprised. Need you to stay in. Well, I guess I don't really need that one. This one to stay together as well. Because since I know this one's kind of loose, it doesn't hurt my feelings as much. So I don't feel like this one's gonna break on me. Oh, thank you. Are you talking about the vinyl or the Arctic figure ones I did? This one doesn't work quite as well as a podcast because of all the heat and random loud sounds that happen periodically. But I appreciate it nonetheless. Probably should use some pliers for this, but oh shit. Language. I'll get a little pain in the fingers and gonna kill me. Oh yeah, the main die. I personally really like that one. Because the one positive of that one, between that one and the Art of Figures, is you don't have to worry about the band breaking on it. Okay, so both these guys are painted. We're going to come back to you. Let you sit for a bit. I am going to quickly grab the phone so that I can get my colors right. Alright, so I'm going to assume hopefully Russell wants the Godzilla's Revenge look, because I think that's what we're going to go with. Oh, the little PNG tuber? It's an app. I had a buddy. He made the avatar. It's just a bunch of still images, some PNGs or JPEGs, and then the app is called Viadotube Mini. And then you just load the pictures into that app, and then it'll ask you you set up multiple images. So like there's open eye, close eyed, open mouth, close eyed, and then you can also program it to have different stills, so you can have it like I can have the frills come out. It's just different tabs. Hey, cats. Everybody's customary servo intrusion. He's got to get fur everywhere, so now it's going to be in the paint. I appreciate you, bud. You know, so needy. Okay, just double checking. Oh, but like that would be kind of cool. Yeah, let go of my shirt. Thanks. All right, back to the Minya. You guys will need to see me in my random jammies. The app is what's it called? Viadotube Mini. Can I type it on here? I gotta do extra stuff. Okay, I won't be able to type it. If I pop into the app, does it show you guys? I don't know if it shows the top. No, it doesn't show the top. Oh, it's actually at the bottom. Embrace the furry Minya. Okay, so we kind of need like base gray and then darker grays and the dark, like base gray into like a couple of dry brushing the darker. Because the primer's probably a tad too bright. At least in person. You guys. The camera just. Oh, yeah, okay. It shows it pretty well for you guys. But it's a little too bright. I was gonna say, honestly, if I had some apple barrel up here, apple barrel would probably be the best color gray. Ah, but I think all that's downstairs. Okay, I'm gonna run downstairs, grab some apple barrel. I will be right back. I'm gonna swap you guys back over to the YouTube for just a sec. All right. Well, on a sad note, I didn't see my apple barrel downstairs. It's not here, is it? No. It wasn't. It was up here. I am an idiot. If you go back onto the stream, where if you just roll back onto it, you can pause it on the screen where I showed the app. Here, as a matter of fact, if I load the stream back up, hopefully it shows them. Oh, it doesn't actually show up for you. Weird. It says on the bottom, it shows like the copyright. Copyright developed avatar talks about. It does not show that for you. Weird. But I know we're spending a lot of this. I can spell for it. It's VEADOTUBE mini. Via do tube mini. The first Via do tube is all one word. Anyways, all right. Found the apple barrel. And it's gone. If I wasn't worried about copyrights, that could be a possibility. Problem is, I haven't got a strike, but we have had quite a many claims on random things. Some I've won, some I've just didn't bother with. Oddly enough, they leave the Godzilla stuff alone, except for Sony was really butthurt about us using I think 20 seconds worth of footage in our entire video of the 98 Godzilla review and how we were talking very good about it. And at the time, we were one of the only people that were talking about it. And they were like, hey, you like that monetization? Well, let's go. They were probably the most tried. I think they were the one that I got the strike removed, but I still don't have it monetized. Oh yeah, for sure. I did have it when this screen. There was an update beforehand, but this used to with my voice it would move, and I haven't been able to find the plugin to let me do that again because it was how I originally did this. I did the Sauron for Primal Rage. He was done with the same thing, where it would just be it would move or change the image based off my pitch, which is what this app does by itself. It just ended better. The only benefit to the other one was depending on how loud I got, it would change. This one doesn't give me that same privilege. I had to download it won't be on your phone or anything. It's only a computer app. I had to Google it. If I remember right. It's kind of like my not my editing software, but what I use for thumbnails and such. It's a free program that I like a lot. Oh yeah, this is the right shades of brown. Move this up a little bit just because I noticed if I get too close to me, it tends to go away. If you stick around till the end of the live stream, I'll pop up a browser and find it for you. God damn, this is like perfect Minya gray if I've ever seen it. It is the perfectest gray for Minya. Well, like I said, if you stick around, remind me before Casey before I get off, and I'll pop it up. So you can always come back to the stream later once you're home and look it up. Yeah, usually I gotta mix some colors or I gotta do a bunch of dry brushing. This is like pretty damn close. With because the in certain areas it applies a little lighter than others, and it's like once it dries, it's got that right texture to it. So I'm also not applying the paint super heavy. So I'll probably go over it one more time just to make sure I hit these. So I'm trying to get best I can the spots that are fairly visible still after posing it. Yeah, I guess I could do that. The first person ever really asked like what it is. So just being like, it's furry Steve. Which is sort of it. Scaly Steve, I guess, or whatever you call it nowadays. I was like, it's primarily it was originally meant for gaming, but it works for this because at least there's something that's kind of interacting. Because I don't usually have my head showing on these. And primarily the boxings anymore. Like with the new laptop setup and everything, I just plan on doing everything like this. Also, I got a bugger on Ez to see if he wants to do that gaming channel or not. Because if he's willing to consistently make content for it, I will set it up for him. But it would primarily be him. I would pop on periodically to do things, gaming too, but it'd be his baby. I like how this channel's mainly mine. My baby. He helps. I toss him money to help me. Ugh. Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted. So I'll just pick it up me handy with it. I want to get paint on my fingies. Oh god, I touched the ground out of me too. I want to skip this song so bad, but I don't want to. Get off the paint. So I'll admit, I am a person, I don't mind Nickelback. And I also like Zach Wild. Like, I love Zach Wild. But this porn star dancing song has gotten so old for me. But it pops up on my list once in a while. Yeah, shoot, if I was a lazy man, this is pretty darn close. Yeah, I gotta clean my fingers. Hey there, hairdryer. A little too much paint right there. Quickly. What you got? What that was? Hey, little terror. Hmm? Putting this knee. Pretty good. Except I'm gonna go over it like lightly with a little bit of a darker gray, but I think other than that, it's got the right tones to it. So I'm gonna again let that sit for a minute. Do the same thing for a little guy here. So I think it'll be a good base, but this one you kind of want to add some of the browns to the tummy, at least from what I looked at, because he's been kind of like going along the ground, so needs a little more attention there. Never fails. Never fails. I said stupid cat. It gets everywhere. That's one. That's one thing about the apple barrel stuff is like the pigmentation in it isn't the best, but in some applications like this, it works out really well because it's not very consistent coloring. So for like monsters and doing like dinosaur figures, what have you, it works pretty solidly. I won't use it for everything, but for certain instances like this, if you got it primered pretty well, it'll do the job nicely. And you can also just go over it with multiple light coats if you are looking for something, trying to get it really consistent. Don't have any by the consistent. It's just like there's no like light sections in the paint. Like you want it to be one all uniform color. There goes. Eh, my fingers are too tiny. I don't usually quite recommend doing this because this is, if you squeeze too hard, you can cause damage and possibly snap this peg. But if you keep a light touch on it, these will work. But I would recommend using a pair of pliers. I just don't have any up here at the moment. I need to shift you guys a little bit more this way. Yeah, that'll work. There we go. Ma'am. Just what you say, Mom. It's about as far as it opens. God, it's gonna be fun trying to paint that thing. Let me be honest, I don't want to yank them. So, as per mentioned before, I'm terrified of breaking these things. Ripley, what you got? What you doing, little pup pup? You guys want to see pup pup? Ripley? What you doing? Huh? Oh, you got oh, tired. She is murdering. Hi, boo boo. Hi, little boo boo. If you're being a border collie Sheltie, you are the lickiest border collie English shepherd. She is the most kissy little girl ever. All she does is give kisses, don't you? Pretty sure it's all that terrier in her. She's supposed to be like part terrier. You definitely seem way more terrier than me, but you're so kissy and loving. Yes, you. She's getting so big. Also, my house is destroyed at the moment. Oh, sweet. Which one? The hive? Okay, we're going to set you little one back aside, let him dry. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the apple barrel paint that we were just using. Yeah. Please don't run away with my headset, doggy. I'm really sad. Super sad. Take a little bit of that, and then I'm going to use some of this neutral gray because it's a little darker. But I don't want to be. Oh, actually, the neutral gray that might just be fine. Oh, do I got a soft brush for dry brush? Oddly enough, this might be fine. It's kind of got the base that I kind of want for it. Just going to try a little bit here. Yeah, that seems about what I want. I'm just going to lightly dry brush over top of it with the neutral gray, which has a little bit more blue in it than the other one. Like the apple barrel is actually, it's got a bit more brown. But I just got a little bit on the brush, and we're just dry brushing it around. So just like the high areas are going to hit with that blue a little bit. It's also the only one thing that's a little annoying about working on resin pieces is they're super hard. So paint tends to rub. Hopefully, like I said, we'll try to crank out these two. Maybe work on the monster arch. Have a go, Mad Goji, if you're still here. Oh, hi. I don't know if you're gonna buy another one to do an evolved. Might as well just get an evolved. It comes out pretty soon. Like, for me, anyways, I have a hard time wanting to work on customs if I know there's going to be something coming out that is a represent that coming out that's literally that figure. Rarely will I ever be able to match the price. Or even if I could save some money, it's still quite a bit of time investment. Oh, something's going on. I got the window up. I can see. Oh, it's the popos. It's the popo. Ooh, yeah, the evolve would be a good base for that, wouldn't it? Yeah, Gashimo, I think, is just now dropping. So, link in description for CalcusToys.com. You save 6% off your order code Steve Calcus at checkout. Um, but I know it was supposed to come out shortly after Shimo was. But it sounds like you already got pre-order, so wherever you got it from ordering from is probably fine. But Shimo's a cool one. I like it more than I thought I would from the trailers and whatnot. She turned out to be pretty cool. Not my favorite though. Like honestly, for me, even out of its own movie, Scar King was probably the standout dude for me. I just really like Scar King. Yeah, because my thought is by the time like we get Shimo like in hand, the Evolve should probably be shipping, which that may would make sense. I know Calcus posted the ship dates when they're expecting to see stuff. Anyways, after dry brushing, so I'm thinking I might hit it like one more time with a little darker. Just go really lightly over it with some dark. Oh, I can't figure out where this paper towel went. Yeah, I'd always hate trying to repair these little, like, it's scuffed right in two spots. It's like applying a little bit of paint to cover it back up. It's always annoying because that's like, all right, well, now that I touched it up, now it's got a little too gray there. To be fair, I could probably 3D print head crest. The dog's having too much fun over there. Okay. Kind of like before, we're just gonna paint out. I'm gonna do the same thing for this little. Well, actually, am I? My dog's like almost getting too big to fit under the couch now, but she's still bound into her bed. She will fit. Honestly, the gray's probably good enough for this one. So I think the current coloring's pretty good on this. Like, I might go over it just to go over it. That's part of the thing. Okay. With the brown, or not brown, dark gray. But I don't think it's going to need the me to go a heavier color. Just like hit just a little bit. Actually, see, I'm being kind of handsy on it because I don't mind if I get some of the paint rubbed off here. I want it to be a bit inconsistent, and it dries. Like doing this, like it dries so freaking fast to the touch. Nope, this is Minya from Son of Godzilla. Now we want a little bit of brown for the tummy. How brown are we going? Why am I on Wikipedia? A little brown. Oh, here's my reddish brown still. That'd be like the best. Oh no, the cap is. I like this little table, but I got it secondhand, so it's missing the drawers. Oh, makeshift drawer thing only kind of works. It's like you applied a tiny bit of pressure, falls out. Ugh. Paper towel, I need you. Oh, it's 3D printed. See if I can clean up the hole. See, I don't need a ton, just a little bit. Show us some? Yeah. If you go with like Godzilla Revenge, it'd be like an ivory and black. Be around there. And then babies, the little ones in the same boat. But there is some eye color to it. Yeah, just the kind of show I'm looking at. Well, it's just solid black, which is creepy. It's like solid black, and there's like a little bit of eye shine you see in a lot of stuff. Actually, I'm gonna use this just to get some paint off. But essentially, what I'm doing is just kind of dirtying them up a little bit. Probably something like that, just a little bit of a brighter color. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely some similarities. Oh, looks like we can't show for Triple A who's giving the business. His tummy looks kind of like that, a little muddy, and transitions to the top. This guy I'm going to keep fairly clean looking, but baby being especially on its tummy, definitely needs to be a little darker colors. know. Final Wars would really work. I give it an attempt. You talk about giving him like the like the brown iris. Have a good one, Godzilla. Now, Monster for Space Godzilla, that'd be sweet. That's sort of what we were thinking about with the super. My only conundrum is I gotta get to this inside of this mouth. Okay, oh, thank God that popped off easy enough. So I'm gonna do that real quick while I'm at it. Okay, so we're kind of like reddish pink. Red base with pink. Hi, Ripley. What, Whoopi? I know. Everybody's ignoring me. No, you can't be on my lap. Stay down. Yeah, as I had to rewatch in high def. I'd be hard pressed to believe that the show has brown though, because almost all the Godzillas don't really have too much coloring. Like I can kind of set it up how I would think it would be with the brown, anyways. Okay. It looks violently red right now. That's okay. We're gonna go back over it. Just want the base color to be red. So we're gonna brighten it up quite a bit and make it more of like a pinkish gray, like a light, like almost skin tone. And I get baby's mouth off that way easily. So it looks like it's set up the same way. I'm hoping I can just kind of. Of course, I'm going to take off paint doing this. Screw it. Holy cow. That really mucked up the paint there, didn't it? It's like I got a little wet because of the dry brushing and then just royally messed up. Yeah, I think the real crystals would be would be a cool way to go about it. Especially at least for the shoulders. Honestly, if you're gonna do it, I would think you wouldn't do his like spines individually. You probably just try to make it look like one big like crystal mass going down, and just having them like with sharper protrusions. If I was rambunctious enough, I could probably sculpt something on its back, and then just 3D print it, and then print the crystal, print them as resin crystals. My only real concern with going that way though is this is really time consuming. Granted, it would probably get a lot of views, to be fair. So I wouldn't mind doing it, but it would just be a bit pricey. It's kind of why I haven't done what am I thinking of? What I flushed to? Flush. I think that's more what I'm looking for is like a skin tone, but just like with a little pink in it. Nice. Get a bunch of paint off and then plug that in. Yeah, there we go. That looks right. Just dry brush this over top. There we go. Focus. There we go. Kind of that coloring. Oh, I'm gonna put your name like for alligator. I know it's a Pokemon. I think the only problem with getting the gems is like I was just looking up, just trying to find stuff to make to use like a proper crystal on my Scar King whip, and it was too expensive for my boat for my liking. Yeah, we had some crappy weather here too. We had like 70-mile-an-hour winds. They weren't around. Feels like about 30 minutes or so. We didn't really get anything too damaging around here. I had a storm like a year ago knocked the telephone pole off my over on my garage. Didn't damage. Like thankfully, it didn't really hurt the garage. It's just kind of like this is more shocking than anything. It's like, oh, there's a garage on top. There's a little electrical pole in my garage. Since I got this apart, might as well touch up the teeth. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna get fun try to do these eyeballs. Oh yeah, we got the little guy. It's like dry brushing inside the mouth real quick. Oh, the city came out. They own the pole. They can fix it. And if I really had a lot of damage from the pole landing, the insurance company would have covered it. But I don't really want my premiums going up, so I just didn't worry about it. Like I mentioned, it didn't really do any like permanent damage. It like knocked out a board, so I was just like, I can live without it. Yep. Mouth is back to being good. Now for the fun part. I hope you guys can see. I mucked it up slightly when I went a little over, but not horrible. Do the same thing for the little eye. Ugh, just did the same thing. My hand just slipped right when I got to it. Poked the eye. A lot of fun though. Once you mess it up a little bit, you're better off just being like, well, now I'm just gonna apply and call it a day. I can come through and clean it up later. Keep them out the pupils. Look like something from the SNES horror game. What were those called? Creepypastas? The Godzilla creepypasta? Okay. We wanted to do brown. Oh. Staring at my reddish brown, I'm like, it's probably not quite where we want to be. We do bronze. How we going, Russell? I might go with that brown anyways. It'd probably look more like a hazel anyways, doing it that route. Then what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to give them really big black pupils. Hey, Bowser. Because I'm doing the big one like that, I might as well attempt to do this little one like this too. Yeah, like that. Like I said, on this one, I'm going to have to clean it up a bit after the fact, but it is what it is. Hey, Godzilla. It's a 5154. Oh, side pains. Everything hurts. Do I plan on buying more? Oh, yeah. It's a little rich for my blood. The only reason we smashed the X Plus back in the day is because somebody sent that in. Yeah, I thought you'd recognize them. I keep slipping my mind that these were yours. Because, like I said, these were sent in to be painted. I will say, I mentioned on the stream before, but I do really like these guys. I think they turned out really good. Like sculpt wise and everything on them is like really well done. Then they're functional. That's like the biggest thing. Yeah, it's a 3D printed Minya in a Monster Art style. When it came in, it was just gray resin, so we're currently working on painting them up. Baby's almost done. I just got to clean up his eyeballs and add a pupil. Like so, this one they wanted the brown for the outer eyes, and then doing the iris. So I'm just making the black a little larger than I normally would. Like so. Oh, he was here earlier. He left me alone for a bit since he was playing with the puppy. There we go. Now the fun part, cleaning this stupid thing up. Cleaning up my mess. Or I overshot it. I'm going to start with the baby because he's the easier one. Lightly go around the eye. There we go. Honestly, I haven't had any issues with them. I was like I said, I haven't disassembled them really to mess around with them because it's just like having worked a ton with 3D printed figures, it terrifies me. So I've been painting around it, but I will say everything has been working very very well. Like I said, in terms of like what I've dealt with, these are easily probably the best 3D printed figures I've done. Painting anyways, painting messes around with. Like I think functionality, they work really well. Because you gotta also be aware, like with resin, like articulating and moving around over time, it's gonna loosen. There's gonna be some rubbing. But like I said, everything, especially having recently put together a dragon that somebody sent me files and I had to print it and get it to work, and oh my god, that was a nightmare. This, on the other hand, everything was really nicely put together. All the joints function, they work. If I had one minor complaint, I would be nice if the mouth could open a little more. If like this little section here was maybe a little larger, so that he could get a little more talky. How we going, Bowser? But I would say that's like my only real critique. Other than that, it would be like ball joint problems. Like the little guy here, like some of the stuff pops off pretty easy. But I would rather have stuff pop off easy than it be fused and snapping off. So, like I said, these are great. Like you did a really standout job with them. Yeah, I went a little too high. It's the one thing about painting eyes. It's like usually it's easier to clean it up than than to try to make the eye perfect in one go. And then you have instances like that where you're trying to clean it up, and my hand's a little shaky today. So I'm going to have to remuck it up without messing up the pupil. No, I think that's a good call. It's something I'm assembled. Because the nice thing too is if you watch the stream, I didn't really have to like the only thing I popped off to paint was the mouth. Everything else, like you said, there's enough clearance to work around it. And I think for the most people, they're not going to disassemble this guy anyways in order to paint it. So like I said, like all the clearance and stuff, really good. And this eye is giving me a fit because it's like I want to get this gray off this little section here, but I got like such a small room for error. Honestly, I probably need a new brush. Maybe I just put more paint on the brush. Probably make my life easier. There we go. Ugh. Cat ain't here right now, but he's here in spirit. Okay, I'm gonna try to heat this up so I can reattach this jaw piece just to show you guys. There we go. Honestly, that worked out really well. Like I said, I'm relatively impressed. Apple Barrel Gray came in clutch here. It is like, for a base gray, it is like the perfect Minya color. Great, I had to do a bit of dry brushing, but the only thing I'm noticing is just my brain right here is right here on this hand. I need to add just a little bit there. The only thing I'd also say, maybe, and I don't know how easy it is. Then I've had to I do this for my beams and such, but it would be kind of cool if you had if the color of the resin was like the correct base color at least. So you wouldn't have to worry about primering it anyways. You could just do a bunch of dry brushing on it. That'd maybe be something to look into. But then again, I think that's more of like that's kind of like going above and beyond. It's just having someone that's painted a lot of resin figures and articulated ones. The one thing that is always going to be kind of frustrating for people, I think, is with the joints, because everything was that light gray and he needs to be more sort of like this gray in color, like a little bit like a brownish gray, like a neutral brown gray. It's the best way I could say it. But you can't really like theoretically get paint on these joints and expect it to stay on. So if it was like that base color already, I think it would make some people's life a little bit easier. But that would be more like if you're doing a bunch of batches. And I mean a bunch. Because you'd already have to like pre-color all your resin that you're going to be using. And it's only really worth doing that if you're doing like the entire bottles. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. I was only bringing it up, like I said, because I do it with my beads and such, where I have like pigment powders or um, sometimes mix some other resin with it. But that stuff, I'm not really worried about like tolerances and what have you. Because for the most part, like the cheap, like honestly, the cheapest resin's like the best resin to use. But no, like I said, that's more. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a knock towards anything that you did. It's just something like it's an idea. Because also for the most part, like people that buy, like, well, it's cool that it's fully posable. Like how often are you really moving this thing to where you have to worry about the paint scuffing all the time? I think a lot of people are more like me, where it's like you kind of get in the pose you want, it'll be there, and you mess around with it periodically. But nah, I really dig it. Super sweet. I may have to try to get one for myself. So I might hit you up sometime when I got some spare cash. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Well, especially like you want to reasonably, you want to keep the cost down as much as you can for you. So it's like whatever works and it's within the budget to make sense for how much effort you put into it. So like I said, honestly, it's more important that the thing's functional and the resin doesn't rub, more so than the resin's the right color or what have you. Yeah, especially like resin can get pricey, especially if you use it like the more durable resins. Like I've used for some of the Zillas, like the big Zilla, I had to use some better stuff, which hurt. Oh yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, it has a hinge, isn't it? Also, how did I miss paint right there? We'll solve that problem. We got primer in it. Honestly, though, I don't mind. Like, I actually kind of dig the way it's set up currently. I think a ball joint would probably afford you less problems, like less durability problems, for sure, though. The paint's starting to dry. I was like, I just buy paint. Why isn't it changing colors? But we've been going at this for a minute, so everything's kind of not wanting to stay. Oh, okay, I get you. All right, I get you. I get you. I thought you meant just making the entire thing a ball joint. But no, like I said, I really dig it. Yeah, these are crazies in the chat. All right, so the eyes are done. I'll take a better picture, but I did do the brown. I just made the black pupil a bit bigger than normal. Oh, Spitfire version. Oh, you're gonna make me make spit O rings, aren't you? Or the smoke rings. I was gonna say it's just the way the light's hitting it. It's kind of going over it one more time just to make sure there's no real issues. But I'm gonna let them sit around for the paint to harden. But babies are all done. Honestly, the smoke rings would be fairly easy to make. Like those, I could just make on Blender. I don't even have to make them by hand. I think the only thing would be you have to connect them. So I'd probably just be making a beam, but just having the rings kind of outward, and then just paint the rings. Would maybe be the best way to go about that. But then again, you could just make it like where he gets his tail stomped on. Just has an actual beam. Oh, that's what we need. We need an accessory where he has a flattened tail. Like just have like make this like one solid piece, but just have a squish for a foot. That'd be sweet. Yeah, honestly, really happy with the paint job. Came out good. So it looks like baby. Only thing I would we need the boy to go with him. Oh, what was his name in the movie? God, I feel like I should know this because of Arnez. Come on, focus. There we go. Okay, well, I'll set them aside. Now for the fun one. Ichiro, yeah. We need an Ichiro figure. Well, Ichiro. I'd buy that for $1. Oh. Was that what he was called the stateside? Was it Kenny? Oh. All right, real quick. My daughter has been asleep for freaking ever. Also, I didn't realize we were already streaming for like almost 2 hours. My kid's been asleep for a hot minute. So I'm honestly, if I get rambunctious enough, we might get back on and do some more painting after Casey goes like to bed. To bed. Yeah, people are kind of hard. It's like I hate painting. Like for me, it's like that with painting people, like painting things in solid colors. I just it's frustrating for me. Monsters are way easier for me to go through. Like this is probably the first non kaiju figure I've done in a little bit that required like solid colors and detailing. The only fun thing is I got to make the drool on them, which also currently is Servo here heating out, which is just UV resin. It came out pretty solid. I would say it's the stripes maybe could have been a little bit like slightly straighter, but I don't think I'm going to go back over it again. But doing stuff like this is like more more nerve wracking for me than trying to do monster stuff. Like I've done some like Jedi, like Star Wars ones too, but it's just like how like monsters are like monsters and dinosaurs are like I find more therapeutic. Also, I hop back on stream later. Probably work on this guy some more too, Mr. Toddzilla or whatever his name is. I got the flag pattern filled out. I just got to do the whites on it. Do the whites. Probably add a little bit of a wash over the nails. I got to do the mouth. Oh, then probably a little bit of a dry brushing over the spines. And then he's pretty much done. Try to wrap up a few commissions here hanging out. Also paint the operator's head. So if I do hop on later, it'll probably be those two and maybe working on doing the pinks on this thing. Which before I would do that stream, I gotta find my iridescent white so I can try to make it a little sparkly. Yeah, they were okay. I think for the price, like for the price point, they didn't really wow me because the paint on those things were pretty off-putting, if I'm going to be honest. And price, but I like the idea where it was kind of like you got like almost like a little movie in a set. So like if you like wanted to buy like some Godzilla versus Hedorah stuff, you got literally everything in that one box you really needed. Yeah, like I kept the Mothra because I just like the box and it came with the fairies because it was fairly unique. But the other ones I repainted and got rid of. And hell, technically, I lost money on the Destroy All Monster set because I only broke even on how much I paid for them. So, like, I lost my time for painting. Hey, Mad Gojo. But anyways, like I mentioned, we'll probably call it good here. If I, like I said, if I get around boxes enough and I'm not super tired, I might hop back on for a little bit later to do some more. I got to do some editing here too because I got another Stevie Toy Room filmed. It's gonna be a pain about to edit, but I got it filmed. Oh yeah, 50%. Those things are awesome. What it was like a little bit. I paid a little over $100 for when they came out because they were like 60ish, right? 50, 60, somewhere around there. Oh no, they were more than that, weren't they? I forget. It's been a hot minute since I've had those. But no, they'd be a neat style. I just don't know how many like how marketable they would be to people in terms of selling them. Oh, I was going to ask you about the other head. Actually, I was going to message you later because I have it sitting right here. But you want to paint it in the same to match this one, right? Okay, yeah, they were hundreds. I was like, wait a minute, no, they were like because it was if I remember, they're almost like 25 a figure, pretty much, which was kind of insane. Yeah, well, it's like if you're going to make them, might as well put them out there. But definitely, I think like the most sellable is pretty much anything that's going to be similar to an X plus like statue style, or the articulated stuff. I can see reaction like anything like reaction size probably doing pretty good. Yeah, and of course accessories. Like I like even for me like my beams like I've sold people for commissions. I have Instagram like stuff from just Instagram, Facebook. I've sold. And I think I have to look at my Etsy, but I think my Etsy I got like somewhere around 400 sales, something like that. A couple of those weren't beam related. I could look right now. Maybe if it loads. Actually, speaking of the Etsy, we got a link in the description for that. If you guys would be interested in picking up some beams. My dashboard will have 380. I've sold 380. I've had 380 sales, and some of those are multiple beam sets. That would be kind of a cool one if you do want that idea. Here, let me go back to live. So this is kind of what we're working on. Just took some pink flame effects, cut the tips off, and made the eyes. Granted, I don't know how well this would work on most normal figures, but it would be a cool, like a cool extra head idea though, because that's something you see in the movie. I think it takes a particular person to want that specific one, but just doing like a clear pink head would be sweet. Yeah, the Toho stuff doesn't get nearly enough loving, so it's good that somebody's doing them. I gotta make more beams for Toho stuff. The one I wanted to do is I made an iris one way back in the day, but I need to actually do that one by hand because I need it to be able to be held by the. I have to make the segment to hold into the the little pincers on the end of the tentacles, and then the beam, so it can kind of hold it itself. Is my game plan? Is what I would like it to do. Well, that's the other thing too is there's a lot of people. There's quite a few people that do the MonsterVerse stuff already. So honestly, you probably get like a little bit of less competition going about it that way. I would love to show you Kitty. I think Kitty's downstairs though. Puppy's here laying on the little mattress. If you want to see Puppy, she looks bummed out. We've been ignoring her. But anyways, like I said, you can help us defeat those guys by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook. Guys, like you put the do what you know, donate greatly would appreciate. Again, there's a link in the description for the Etsy if you guys like to pick up some beams for your Godzilla figures. We also got the Godzilla head I sculpted that's still hanging out there. Sadly, nobody's bought that yet. I probably have it too expensive. It's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But if you're interested, you can also message me on the Instagram. Also, if you guys like pick up your Godzilla collectibles, there's a link in the description for Entertainment Earth. You can also support the channel that way if you're getting stuff stateside. Or as you see pop up at the top there, we also have Calcus. If you guys like pick up your highest stuff, you can save 6% off your order code Steve Calcus to checkout. They do free shipping stateside. You also get your stuff much sooner. Hey, Kitty! All right, Kitty's back. Hold up. Whoever wanted to Kitty. He has arrived. Yeah, buddy. You gonna say bye-bye to everybody? Huh? He's like, why do you have that light in my face? Yeah, he's a puppy getting puppy jealous. The giant velociraptor has destroyed the top of that little thing. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.